Have you ever found yourself stuck in a loop of delaying tasks only to end up stressing about them later? If you're nodding along, don't worry, you're not alone. Procrastination, the act of postponing tasks, is a common phenomenon. It's not an exclusive club. Students, professionals, artists, even athletes, we all procrastinate from time to time. It's like a universal language, understood and spoken by millions around the world. But why do we procrastinate? What draws us into this seemingly endless cycle of delay, stress, and guilt? Let's delve into that a bit. Firstly, there's the fear of failure. It's a powerful deterrent. When a task seems daunting or the stakes are high, we might delay starting it to avoid potential failure. It's a protective mechanism, but not a very productive one. Then there's perfectionism. The desire to do everything perfectly can be paralyzing. We wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect resources. But guess what? Perfection is a myth. It's an unattainable standard that keeps us stuck in the loop of procrastination. And let's not forget about lack of motivation. It's hard to start a task when you're not feeling motivated. Whether it's due to boredom, lack of interest, or low energy, motivation plays a significant role in whether we start a task now or push it to the back burner. These are just a few reasons why we procrastinate. There are many more, some personal, some universal. But the key takeaway here is that procrastination is not a character flaw or a sign of laziness. It's a complex interplay of emotions, fears, and habits. So consider this. If procrastination is so common and so deeply ingrained in our behavior, isn't it time we learned how to deal with it? Isn't it time we broke free from the chains of delay, stress, and guilt? If you're nodding along again, you're in the right place. So, if you're tired of the constant stress and guilt that comes with procrastination, stick around as we delve into how to overcome it. Before we can break free from procrastination, we need to understand its cycle. Picture it like a merry-go-round that just keeps spinning, with each revolution being a new round of procrastination. First, there's the task. This could be anything from writing a paper to cleaning the garage. It's something that needs to be done, but you just don't want to do it. Next comes the avoidance. You know the task is there, but you decide to do something else instead. You might tell yourself you'll do it later, but deep down you know that's just an excuse. Then the guilt sets in. You feel bad for not doing the task, but the guilt doesn't motivate you to do it. It just makes you feel worse. Finally, there's the stress. The task is still there, and now it's looming over you, causing you anxiety, and thus the cycle continues. Now that we understand the cycle, we can identify and target these steps to break free. The first step to overcoming procrastination is to recognize and acknowledge it. Now, this might seem like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how often we tend to dismiss procrastination as just a little harmless delay. But here's the thing, it's not. It's the arch nemesis of productivity, and it's about time we treated it as such. Acknowledging procrastination is like flipping on a light switch in a dark room. You can't dodge the furniture if you can't see it, right? Similarly, you can't tackle procrastination if you don't even realize it's there. So, how do you recognize when you're procrastinating? Well, it's all about noticing patterns of delay or avoidance. Imagine you have a big project due in a week. You tell yourself, I've got plenty of time, I'll start tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes and you say, well, it's the weekend, I'll start on Monday. Monday rolls around and you think, I work better under pressure, I'll start closer to the deadline. If this scenario sounds familiar, then congratulations, you've just recognized a pattern of procrastination. Another telltale sign of procrastination is task avoidance. Let's say you have to write a report. Instead of starting on it, you find yourself reorganizing your desk, checking social media, or even deciding that now is the perfect time to start that new diet plan. Anything but the task at hand. This is avoidance, my friends, and it's procrastination's sneaky sidekick. But don't worry, recognizing these patterns is half the battle. Once you've identified these delaying tactics and avoidance strategies, you've taken the first step towards defeating procrastination. Remember, it's okay to admit that you're procrastinating. It's not a personal failing, but rather a habit that can be changed. And change always begins with recognition and acknowledgement. With recognition comes the power to change. So let's move on to the next step. The second step is to prioritize your tasks and break them down into manageable chunks. Now, I know what you're thinking, easier said than done, right? Not necessarily. Let's dive into how you can make this a reality. Firstly, let's talk about prioritizing. Ever heard of the Eisenhower box? Named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower, it's a simple tool to help you sort your tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. By doing this, you can clearly see where your focus should be. More often than not, we waste our time on tasks that are neither urgent nor important, while the important tasks get pushed to the back burner. Let's change that. Next, we have to deal with those big, daunting tasks that we tend to avoid. The secret here is to break them down. Think of it like eating an elephant. How do you do it? One bite at a time. The same principle applies here. Take that big task and break it down into smaller, more manageable tasks. This makes the task less intimidating and more approachable. Now here's a little trick. Start with the easiest task first. Why? Because it gives you a quick win, a sense of accomplishment. This boosts your motivation, and before you know it, you're on a roll. It's also important to remember that perfection is the enemy of productivity. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Progress, not perfection, is the key. Let's recap. Prioritize your tasks using tools like the Eisenhower box. Break down larger tasks into smaller ones. Start with the easiest task and strive for progress, not perfection. With your tasks organized and simplified, procrastination starts to lose its grip. The third step is to create a productive environment that encourages work instead of procrastination. Now, what does this so-called productive environment look like, you may wonder? Well, it's a place where you can focus, free from distractions, and where you feel motivated to get cracking with your tasks. Let's start with the basics. A clutter-free, well-organized workspace is a great place to start. It might be a desk in your room, a corner of the library, or even a coffee shop, as long as it's a place where your mind can focus on the task at hand. And it's not just about physical clutter. Digital clutter can be just as distracting, so close those unnecessary browser tabs, put your phone on silent, and shut down any apps that aren't needed for the task at hand. Now, it's not all about locking yourself away and working non-stop. Productivity isn't a marathon, it's more like a series of sprints. This is where the importance of regular breaks comes in. Studies have shown that taking short breaks throughout the day can actually boost your productivity. It gives your mind a chance to rest and recharge, ready to tackle the next task with renewed vigor. So, don't be afraid to step away from your desk for a few minutes every hour or so. Finally, let's talk about the role of positive reinforcement. Rewarding yourself for completing tasks can be a powerful motivator. It doesn't have to be anything huge, maybe just a cup of your favorite tea or a few minutes to watch a funny video. The point is, by associating productivity with positive rewards, you're more likely to want to get things done. Remember, your environment can either feed procrastination or starve it. Choose wisely. So let's quickly recap the steps to overcome procrastination. First up, we have the crucial step of recognition and acknowledgement. This is where you face the music, identify that you're procrastinating, and accept it. It's okay to admit it, we all do it. The key is to move forward. Next, we prioritize and break down tasks. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, so tackle your tasks piece by piece. Prioritize what's essential and break those big tasks into manageable chunks. It's all about making the mountain feel like a molehill. Lastly, we have the art of creating a productive environment. Your surroundings matter. Create a space that inspires you to work, free of distractions. A clean, organized workspace can do wonders for your productivity. These steps are not just strategies, they're a lifestyle change. When you implement them regularly, you're creating a habit of productivity. Armed with these steps, you're now ready to kick procrastination to the curb and embrace productivity.